Hey everyone, Crash here. You can see on my last video when I actually did a tour of the rig itself, kind of a long video, that I was actually working on a e-brake or hand brake, depending on what part of the world you're in, based off of a Logitech Wingman Attack 2. I completed it, and I didn't complete the rig yet, but we actually already did most of the vinyl wrapping. I still want to fine-tune a lot of the vinyl wrapping, but I have it in its place. Unfortunately, due to some calibration settings that kind of went crazy out of nowhere, and I had to take the potentiometers out, kind of clean them out, and work with a few different programs to try to get it recalibrated. I ended up having to take the vinyl off and put it back on several times, also messing up some of the boarding underneath. So it does need some adjusting, so don't judge my wrapping skills based off of what it looks like now. It's still kind of a work in progress, but let's just say this is kind of version 1, final test. You can see over here I have Dirt 3 running. Just basically confirmed that it works just a moment ago. Finally, it worked before, but since the calibrations went askew, it took me about 2 or 3 days to finally get everything all figured out. Basically, I had to clear drivers and reinstall all the drivers again, and through the Windows calibration tool itself under game controller settings, that's the only thing I was able to use to actually calibrate it itself, and that was only brought up after I completely uninstalled the Logitech software and drivers itself. So might be a lot of help to some of you guys that have a Wingman Attack 2 or some other non-force feedback stick that you're looking on how to calibrate it, because I've seen that a lot online when I was trying to figure out how to calibrate this thing, but not until I actually uninstalled the Logitech software completely was I able to actually calibrate it using the Windows software. So with that being said, I plasti dipped the handle and the stick, and kind of have it in its final resting place. And yeah, let me just show you what I did. Alright, hopefully you could see it pretty well. The flight stick there itself is just like I showed on the tour of the video, the skewer handle mounted to a nutcracker, and which is hot glued into the actual base itself of the Logitech Wingman. I took it apart, I mounted the base inside using some hot glue and whatnot, and on the front side you could see a little bit of a shiny spring. That's actually, I didn't have any springs at home, and I kind of wanted to keep this real quick in DIY, and I really wanted to get it together quickly. I actually took the little ball from like a shaker cup. I had quite a few of them around, and I'm kind of using that as a spring on top of the spring that's into the base itself of the Wingman Attack 2, just to kind of give it a little bit more resistance. I do plan on getting a stronger spring here eventually. I plasti dipped the handle of both the nutcracker and the skewer handle itself, just to kind of give it a little bit of a custom look, you know, a little color to it. And but I do plan on vinyl wrapping the handle itself very shortly. I just want to get it together for testing purposes and get this video out there. The rest of the rig itself is still needing to be fine-tuned as far as wrapping goes. It was kind of a learning process for me. But yeah, let's get to some gameplay. I got Dirt 3 up. Let's see how it works. Everyone, finally got Dirt 3 running, and this is actually going to be my first run with this e-brake here actually working. So hopefully I don't suck too bad. I'm running a field of view editor, and finally they released a version of the game without that Gaming for Windows Live login. So all the cars are in one folder. When you run this field of view editor, it even edits the downloadable cars that they give you on that version essentially for free. So it's just awesome. But I have a light on from my cell phone going to this e-brake here, so you could actually see it working, or hand brake depending on what part of the world you're in. But yeah, let's give it a shot, and here we go. It works. Nice. And it not being a button, it's an actual axis. I kind of feel like I can modulate it a little bit. You know, not all games I was reading allow you to basically assign an axis. It will just treat it as a button. I'm not sure how this game is, but if it's a placebo effect, then so be it. I mean, it feels like I'm modulating something here. Way too hot. Let's go at it again. Now I'm running this on advanced setting. The only thing that I am doing that I normally wouldn't do is I have it on automatic instead of running it as, oh, second place, not too bad for a first time. Jeez, nice. Well, yeah, like I was saying, the only thing that I have on that I normally wouldn't have on is automatic, and that's mainly because I want to focus on using this. But yeah, it made the game feel a lot easier than trying to push a button and you know, for the e-brake and whatnot. So it felt pretty darn good. I've never gotten second place before. But yeah, alright, there you go. It works, and highly encourage everyone to do a DIY and go at it, especially if you're into sim racing. It feels a hell of a lot more satisfying, kind of keeps you busy too, doing your own stuff. But yeah, cheap flight stick from Goodwill into a handbrake. Works great. Alright everyone, I wanted to give you kind of a first-person view of the replay, because I know sometimes with these GoPros, if you don't have it just kind of facing the screen itself, the video kind of gets really washed out as far as gameplay itself. So yeah, kind of wanted to give you a first-person view. The only downside, the reason why I didn't do this before, is the lighting in this room kind of sucks, so you wouldn't be able to see the main point of the video, which was the handbrake. So yeah, here we go. So yeah, pretty much this was a success in my book. Like I said, it doesn't look the best in the world, but it will. It's kind of a work in progress. Now that I got everything working, now I can focus a little bit more on the looks of it, especially being that I had to tear it apart about 7 times. Every time I thought I got it working, I would snap it all back together, and then find out it wasn't working, then I had to go and tear it apart again. But yeah, to make a long story short, I highly recommend it as a DIY. The flight sticks themselves, you know, you can find them anywhere used. You can even buy them off eBay for just a few bucks, and then from there you're good to go. So I highly recommend it. It was super fun. It was very satisfying with the game itself, and yeah, have fun, race on.